Jeremiah 29, 1 through 32. Devotional focus verse. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. Jeremiah 29, 12 and 13. Through Charlotte Atseff's teenage years, she was very rebellious, and after her marriage, she continued on in her own way, resisting the truth she had been taught as a child. Her mother had prayed for Charlotte since the day her daughter was born, but one day that godly mother became seriously ill. As Charlotte sat by her mother's bedside, the thought came to her mind, "Who will pray for me now? What will I ever do without Mother's prayers?" The Lord answered her questions by speaking to her heart, "You will pray for yourself." After her mother's death, Charlotte began to reach out to the Lord and started attending a neighborhood church. One morning, alone in her house, she truly sought God with all of her heart. She confessed her sins, naming them one after another. In later years, she testified, "All of a sudden, it seemed I was the worst sinner in the world. My soul was as dark as midnight. The devil shouted at me, 'You have gone too far,' but at that moment the Lord showed me his cross. I saw all my sins there on the cross. I did not try to bargain with God. I just pled for mercy. Jesus came into my heart and forgave me. He turned me right about face. I knew the moment I was redeemed. I was a new person. All the bitterness and hatred were gone. He melted my heart like the ice is melted in the summer sun." In our text today, the Lord was speaking through the prophet Jeremiah to the people of Judah who were captives in Babylon, urging them to come back to him. Sadly, they were hardened by sin and rebellion, and unlike Charlotte, they were not willing to turn to God in their time of trouble. Despite their resistance, God was still calling after them in mercy. He was waiting for them to turn to him and promised that if they would just pray, he would hearken. If they would seek him with all their hearts, he would be found of them. What a comforting thought! No matter what spiritual condition we are in, God still invites us to pray and call upon him. He wants us to seek him with all our hearts, to yield our lives completely to him, and to search diligently for his will for our lives. He says if we do this, he will be there to hear and answer our prayers. Charlotte proved that God is just one heartfelt and sincere prayer away, and she never regretted it. We can prove that same truth in our lives. Background information. Chapter 29 includes 2 letters that Jeremiah wrote to the Jewish people who were exiled in Babylon. There is also a reference to a letter written by the false prophet Shemaiah to the temple priests. Correspondence was not difficult at this time, as diplomatic missions were carried on between Jerusalem and Babylon. Jeremiah also had friends in high places of Judah's government, which enabled him to keep in contact with the exiles. The first letter in this chapter was sent with Elasah, the son of Shaphan, a brother to Ahikam mentioned in chapter 26, and Gemariah, son of Hilkiah, perhaps the high priest in the time of Josiah. The people who had been relocated to Babylon were restless and wishing to return to Judah. They were influenced by false prophets among them who were saying the captivity would be short. Jeremiah told them the captivity would be for 70 years. He encouraged them to be law-abiding, humble people and to build homes and plant gardens. The exiles were not treated as slaves in Babylon. They could buy property, have families, and reside in their own communities. In fact, some of the Jewish people became so wealthy during this time that they decided not to return to Jerusalem when the exiles were finally released. Verses 10 through 14 contain a message of hope from the Lord for the exiles. He promised that if they would seek him again with all their hearts, he would be found of them. He would hear and answer their prayers. Beginning with verse 16, the exiles were told that they were better off than the people who had remained in Judah. Again, perhaps in a second letter, Jeremiah warned of false prophets, naming 2, Ahab and Zedekiah. Jeremiah prophesied that these 2 men would be burned to death, which was not an unusual form of capital punishment in Babylon, and their names would be used as an example of a curse. Shemaiah, another false prophet in Babylon, had apparently written a letter accusing Jeremiah of being a madman and urging the authorities to imprison him. See verses 24 through 28. In his response, Jeremiah warned the people not to believe Shemaiah and that he and his relatives would die in exile and never see the city of Jerusalem again. Conclusion. God's promise to be found of those who seek him wholeheartedly extends down through the ages from the time of Jeremiah to our day. He is still faithful to respond to those who approach him with an honest heart.
Chapter 29. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon, after that Jeconiah the king, and the queen, and the eunuchs, the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, and the carpenters, and the smiths, were departed from Jerusalem, by the hand of Elasah the son of Shaphan, and Gemariah the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah king of Judah sent unto Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses, and dwell in them, and plant gardens, and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives, and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there, and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, Let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which ye cause to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, saith the Lord. For thus saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, in causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me, when ye shall search for me with all your heart. And I will be found of you, saith the Lord, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith the Lord, and I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. Because ye have said, The Lord hath raised us up prophets in Babylon, know that thus saith the Lord of the King that sitteth upon the throne of David, and of all the people that dwelleth in this city, and of your brethren that are not gone forth with you into captivity. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten, they are so evil. And I will persecute them with the sword, with the famine, and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be removed to all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse, and an astonishment, and an hissing, and a reproach among all the nations whither I have driven them, because they have not hearkened to my word, saith the Lord, which I sent unto them by my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them. But ye would not hear, saith the Lord. Hear ye therefore the word of the Lord, all ye of the captivity, whom I have sent from Jerusalem to Babylon. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, of Ahab the son of Koliah, and of Zedekiah the son of Maaseiah, which prophesy a lie unto you in my name. Behold, I will deliver them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and he shall slay them before your eyes. And of them shall be taken up a curse by all the captivity of Judah which are in Babylon, saying, The Lord make thee like Zedekiah, and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire, because they have committed villainy in Israel, and have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives, and have spoken lying words in my name, which I have not commanded them. Even I know, and am a witness, saith the Lord. Thus shalt thou also speak to Shemaiah the Nehelamite, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, saying, Because thou hast sent letters in thy name unto all the people that are at Jerusalem, and to Zephaniah the son of Maaseiah the priest, and to all the priests, saying, The Lord hath made thee priest in the stead of Jehoiada the priest, that ye should be officers in the house of the Lord. For every man that is mad, and maketh himself a prophet, that thou shouldest put him in prison, and in the stocks. Now therefore, why hast thou not reproved Jeremiah of Anathoth, which maketh himself a prophet to you? For therefore he sent unto us in Babylon, saying, This captivity is long. Build ye houses, and dwell in them, and plant gardens, and eat the fruit of them. And Zephaniah the priest read this letter in the ears of Jeremiah the prophet. Then came the word of the Lord unto Jeremiah, saying, Send to all them of the captivity, saying, Thus saith the Lord concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite, Because that Shemaiah hath prophesied unto you, and I sent him not, and he caused you to trust in a lie, therefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will punish Shemaiah the Nehelamite, and his seed. He shall not have a man to dwell among this people, neither shall he behold the good that I will do for my people, saith the Lord, because he hath taught rebellion against the Lord.